Welcome back to Brick by Brick. Today we're going to be going through my latest prediction. In this case, we're going to do a hypothetical versus the current Vice President, Vance. So we will be going through each of these states. I've already characterized the states that are in the likely or the safe column. We will now characterize the likely ones. Florida, let's see here, Iowa, Ohio, and actually we have one more safe state. Obama was able to win Indiana in 2008, which is the last time it went to Democrat, but unless something major happens, it is most likely going to be a safe Republican seat. So we have those for the Republicans, and then for the Democrats, we will go to the likely state of Colorado, and New Mexico usually is slightly less Democratic than Colorado, but I do think that they are both going to end up in the Democratic column for sure, so the margins might be different, but I feel pretty confident evaluating those two states. And then we will get to the state of New Hampshire. Actually, I'm going to give that as a lean. We'll go to the lean states. We'll give a lean rating to New Mexico there. And then we also have the lean state of Virginia. And then I believe that is all for the Democrats. For the Republicans, we have the lean state. North Carolina is probably going to remain in Republican hands. This is with this situation, this is post-tariff rollout, so there is already started to be some backlash to the Trump-Vance administration, so there are conditions that would probably favor the Democrats. The economy is not looking very good at the moment. Stock market has plunged, which generally means a lower approval rating for the party in power, and in this case, Republicans hold the legislature and the executive branch, so they are likely going to be the ones that are going to be punished, or there's going to be some blowback from Democrats in this case, so we're going to go, but I don't think it'll be enough for North Carolina to flip. That could change. We're still a while out, but for now I'm going to go with that prediction. Next up, we're going to go to the tilt states. Most of these swing states are tilt states, so I'm going to go with Nevada as being a tilt blue state. For Harris, I think that it's possible she is able to lose this state, but I do think that the conditions are going to be better for Democrats this time around. In 2024, inflation was really just on the minds of many voters, but I do think that Republicans' approach to it so far is probably hurting more than it's helping. So I do think that will possibly be enough to turn the tide on a few of these states. And it is important to note, in pretty much all these states, it was a relatively close margin. I'm going to go with a tilt, not blue, a tilt red rating for Arizona. Arizona did go for Biden in 2020, but it went for Trump by a pretty significant margin, especially when compared to the other swing states in the 2024 election. So we're going to go with that rating for Arizona. And now we get to the Rust Belt. We also have Georgia left. So in Georgia, that state is going to be interesting. I think that there's a chance it could go either way, but for now, I'm going to go with tilt blue. I think it really could go either way. And that leaves us with 247 electoral college votes for the Democrats to 245 for the Republicans. And generally, the three states here in the Rust Belt vote together. In 2016, they all went for Trump. In 2020, they all went for Biden. And then in 2024, they all went for Trump again. And I do think that depending on how the economy ends up by the time this election rolls around, if it were to be held today, I doubt. We also saw a lot of momentum on the Democratic side. Democrats were able to win both of the races in Wisconsin by a pretty big margin, a lot bigger than Trump was able to win the state in 2024. And that could be, special elections aren't everything. They could be an outlier in an instance, but I do think that that is enough of a sign that Wisconsin is probably going to be close. I do think that of the states, it's the most likely to go red, but I'm going to go with a similar rating for these other two states. I think Pennsylvania has a possibility of going red, and if it did, we also have to characterize the district in Nebraska and Maine. So in Maine, I'm most likely going to give this as, so this one is red. Maine is probably going to be a lean Republican rating, there we go. So with that, that's 292 for the Democrats to 246 for the Republicans. Things could change. We still got a lot of time before the 2028 election, but for now, if I were to give my prediction, it would probably end up going like this. There's also been a little bit of polling on the potential candidates that the Democratic Party is going to field, and in this case, Harris is leading the way, which is an interesting strategy. I do think that Buttigieg would probably do better than Harris against Vance or whoever the Republicans nominate, but there is what Democrats are favoring. She's ahead in the polls, so could be another shot for her in the 2028 presidential election. And then for the Republican side of things, we will go to this polling place here, and that has Vance at about, he's commanding the lead at 47.7%. DeSantis is 10%. So in general, I think that most likely at the moment, two candidates are going to be Harris and Vance. But like I said, still a long ways out, so things could definitely change. Feel free to let me know if you have any questions about anything we went over, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.